is a medical doctor at Delta State Hospital, Parkland, Enugu State, and Secretary Public Affairs Analyst, Enugu State. He will be joining us today, Dr. Chike Obasi, who is going to join us and talk about the impacts of U.S. government's halt on HIV treatment support in Nigeria and other developing countries, and of course, how we can talk about the communication here. Dr. Chike, good morning and welcome. Oh, okay. Well, welcome to the program today. Now, we have heard situations with vast array of discussions where we have conversations about the role of communication in trying to prevent strike actions. A case study of telecom in the crisis recently, the increment in telecom hike, and of course the halt of the United States government by Donald Trump, where he said that he will no longer be funding HIV treatment in Nigeria and all that. So this is mouth-watering, and it's the things we want to talk about. Thank God a doctor is right here with us to talk about the impact of this on Nigerian lives. So once again, we welcome you, Dr. DK. I just want to be sure if you can hear me loud and clear.
Thank you very much. I can hear you clearly.
Oh, okay.
Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, everybody.
Oh, all right. Now, let's begin with the communication story. The role of communication in trying to halt or prevent strike actions, the case study of telecom crisis. Do you think there are other means of communication, maybe from the government or labor unions, to allow communication play a role in stopping strike action other than just taking the strike or shutting down the economy?
First, I must apologize. I must sincerely sympathize with Nigerians, starting with myself, whose inactions of the economy, is biting so hard on. We are all victims of the difficulty Nigeria is passing through, and any marginal increase on any item now is really a difficult one. Many of us are finding it difficult to fill their cars. Many of us no longer move around. And increment in many rely on telecommunication these days, talking, chatting, social media, to communicate effectively. So any increment in those areas will become a very serious burden on us. And I think that is the hallmark of it. So trying to, increase the fare, I sympathize with the telecom service industry. Nigeria, over the last 10 years, has witnessed an economical increase in inflation, and telecom is not in any way immune to that. So, but their increment is quite huge. Having 50% tariff just in one sweep, I think is huge, and it's going to affect Nigerians heavily. So I think trying to cut it, trying to increase to that extent is quite high. On the other hand, when we look at the actions NLC wants to go to or other parties, cutting down or stopping telecommunication, it's going to hurt the ordinary man. So it's a difficult situation we find ourselves. We are restricted to movement by cost of petroleum, and we communicate more often through calls, chat, and then trying to cut down that again. It's going to be double jeopardy. So I don't think it's going to be effective. But I think a win-win situation can be adopted here. We do a simple, mathematics. We do a look at it from the point of economy of scale, and see how the telecom industries would increase their penetration. As at the last count, I know that close to something million Nigerians are using internet, and it has been on increase, which means more people are subscribing, to internet users. So I think they could actually expand the penetration and not necessarily expand the cost. They might know how to mitigate so that they have more gain by expanding their instruments at a point rather than billing Nigerians to recover their cost.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Doctor. Just before we go down to the health situation, we have a lawsuit that was filed by Serap suing the federal government and telecom companies in Nigeria to stop the increment in telecom communication. And then given the track records of Serap in Nigeria, and being as Nigerian that you are today, Do you see this as positive impact, especially as to, or you see Serap as having the ability to maintain the temple until justice is served to Nigerians?
When you sue companies in this manner, you see, you cannot just halt the company from increasing, without recourse to other variables. But I think that the lawsuit, Sarap has been, I must comment, Sarap, they've been bringing awareness, to issues and trying to test court, trying to test the system using our court. And I think Sarap must be commended, despite the fact that they might have not gotten all they want to get through court, but using several ways of fighting for human rights and human, is a better mechanism. I think I commend Sarap. But I believe that the issue is very simple. There are variables that are causing the telecom industry to increase their tariff. If you cannot hold down those variables, you may not be able, I don't think any court will be able to ask telecom industries not to increase. Otherwise, if you stifle them, then it's not free market any longer, because the market system ought to, put the prices in place. But at the same time, I want to believe that that will give a win negotiation, with Nigerians, with so that at the time the court cases are going on, the telecom companies should be able to do their calculation properly and probably come up with a better pricing than we have today.